Welcome back to another episode of Pewology. This is a show where the people in the pews get to weigh in. We let the congregants and the people that are gathering in worship do the talking. I get to ask the questions, but you guys get to do the talking. That's always fun. That's always fun. And I'd like to say that none of the answers are censored. They don't know what they're going to talk about. And so all of it's just a surprise. So we just do it naturally. That way, like, it doesn't come off like you're getting preached at. They're just talking. They're just talking. Here we go. Okay. So dating, engaged, married. This is the perfect panel.
This
for
is
this.
perfect.
This is the perfect panel for this. Dating, engaged, married. I love it. Okay.
Oh boy.
So we did a guys podcast, and this is the context that we were talking about, and we want to get kind of your guys' thoughts on this. So we were putting the guys in a situation where if they were with their significant other, boyfriend, fiance, husband, whoever it is, or however that works, wife, whatever that works. If they were with their significant other in public and a stranger, a person off the street, a stranger, somebody in public, disrespected their spouse, their fiance, or their girlfriend, what's the expectation of the wife, the fiance, the girlfriend about how their significant other should respond to someone disrespecting them in public? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if someone either said something verbally or did something even worse, like if they slapped your butt or something, or like did something crazy where they were like crossed a line, what's the expectation that you have of your significant other, how they'll handle it? Yeah, you got it?
Yeah.
Are you with me? You got that? Well, I mean, do you see Danny as a fighter? Like, you see him like literally fist fighting this dude? Like, does that happen? Is it in your mind? Is that a reality?
I feel like I've seen glimpses, and I think he's like a blackout kind of person. Like, he like blacks out, and then he like gets like, I don't know.
He'll get raging mad?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
He would.
I like that.
No, he would.
For the right thing.
Yeah.
If it's righteous, right? If it's
But I don't like that. So I'm more like pull away. Like, I'll walk away and like I'll pull him because I just don't like that.
That's
I feel like if it's like a level of like, if it's someone saying like something like, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like, it doesn't faze me. But
what if he called you a name? Well, that's when he called you a name or something.
Like, I guess it just depends on I feel like.
What if it was bad?
Yeah, like whatever's bad to
what
you.
would Israel do if it was bad?
It's just crazy because I haven't really seen that like fighter side or like how he would react to that. Like, he's not really the type to do that. I'm pretty sure like it's almost like Pastor Daniel, like he would be the type to be like almost like black out and then just like react. But like I'm also like, oh, like I don't know, because I think a part of me would also feel like a way, and I'll probably like say something back myself.
Yeah. Oh, really? You would be the one to.
I feel like I would probably
I could see that. I could see that.
I think I would be the one to say something back or be like, oh my God, like he said this and that, but like I don't know.
Do you think you'd say something like, if somebody said something to you super disrespectful, do you think you'd walk away, or you think you'd engage? Typically, I think you'd walk away 90% of the time.
I think 90% of the time I would walk away, but I think it just depends.
If they really cross the line,
if they really cross, I think I would. Like, if I'm being honest,
you think you go hood on them, like straight up, like straight up?
I mean, we were talking about fighting kids yesterday.
Fighting children?
Yeah, but meaning because, she's worked in really, like, tough situations at schools, and there's kids that will swing on teachers.
Yeah.
So she's like, honestly, like, I would swing back. Like, so I'm like,
not that I would swing back.
I'll lose
my
Yeah, I know, exactly. Let's not put that out there.
Like, the thoughts is like, man,
like her innate reaction would be to want to swing back.
Yeah.
But obviously she wouldn't. But like,
exactly. So I think my initial reaction would be like, yeah, like I would definitely like say something back. I would try not to say something. I would try my best, but like it's just naturally I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
But Israel, I think Israel would probably be the one to choose more like the peace. Like, no, like it's not worth it. Like, unless it's something extremely disrespectful, like if someone was to like you said, like slap my butt, that's definitely
that's a huge cross. I mean, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. People would cross the line. People do crazy things, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if somebody did that, what would you think he would do?
I don't know what he would do. I feel like he would. I genuinely don't know what Israel would do. I feel like he would definitely do something. I just don't know. Like,
but would you be mad if he doesn't react?
That's the.
Yeah,
I would be mad.
That's the $1 million question.
That's
if
the
that
question.
happened,
I would be mad if he didn't react.
If he was just like, let's.
Yeah,
if
I
he
would
just,
be mad.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm like, he disrespected me. You're gonna let him disrespect me, or like, like I would be very upset.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like the man is supposed to be the protector, right?
Right.
So like if something was to happen to me and I don't feel protected, then I'm going to be like,
What are you here for? What are you here? What are you good for?
what's going on?
Oh my God.
So yeah. But
Yeah,
I think
But do you think Axel? What do you think Axel would do if somebody?
I think like if it was bad, I think he would slap somebody.
Yeah. I think so too. I think he'd get physical.
But he is like, as far as I've known him, he's been able to like keep his composure. He's been calm and collected. So I've never seen him like be like or have like rage or anything like that. But
It's weird, right? Because it's weird. Security's a weird thing, right? So like, if you're with a person, a significant other, right, and you don't feel like you have a good bead or a good expectation of what their reaction is going to be like, that can be fearful too. Like if you're with a guy and he's a loose cannon and you're like, oh my God, we're going to be in a public situation and there's going to be like a whole thing that goes on.
Yeah.
And I can't like kind of like influence him towards like a cooler heads prevail kind of thing. That's scary.
Yeah.
Right. And on the other hand, the very other end, which is if he does nothing, super scary, right? Like if he's just a wet blanket and he's just like taking whatever happens. It's like, dude, that's not cool either. Like, like you said, like I expect a certain level of like you're gonna step in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Would you rather it be
situation.
verbal or physical? I mean, I guess it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
If it was
I
bad,
think it depends on the
if somebody touches you, it feels like that's the point where it's
I
like,
feel
dude,
like
a
my
line has been
initial
crossed.
I feel like my initial thought would be like punch him in the face, but like but obviously like I would never want to choose that type of violence. Like it's like that's something that I would initially not want, but like if it's a reaction, like I don't blame you. Like you deserve that. Like you just did that to me. You know what I mean? Like I think it's just that. Yeah.
I was giving the guys the example. There was one time, I've only had this happen once in my life, right? Where we were in downtown. We were at a concert at like Amway. I think it was a ball game. It was like a ball game or something. Maybe like a Magic game. And we had parked in one of the parking garages. And like I don't know if we got there late or what the deal was, but we were the only one on this floor. Like it was like me and only one on this floor, right? And then like out of the blue, this guy shows up and it's very apparent that like something's off. Like my radar's like going. I'm like, and so now we're getting on the elevator and he like moves quickly to get on that elevator with us. Right. And so now I'm on this elevator and I'm like, I'm gonna have to fight this guy to the death on this elevator. God. You know what I'm saying? Like that's going through my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna have this is it. We're in close quarters. It's going down. Do you know what I'm saying? And I remember thinking to myself, like the whole time that night, I remember thinking, could I do it? Like if I like would I try to talk my way out of this or would I try to like physically get out of this? Like what's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
Right. Because here's the deal. Like when you, like we say we want the guy to interact, but what happens if the interaction leads to like, well, he's arrested now. Our whole lives are changed. He's going to jail for a while. Like our whole life is now, our finances change, our family changes. There's a whole aftermath that comes with it. Anytime there's a physical altercation, it can go anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, we kind of want it, but it's like,
it's not the smartest choice, obviously.
Right.
So,
but at the same time, you're like, you should have done something.
It's just my initial reaction would be that, like, because I just would feel very disrespected. So I would want him to like almost protect me and like, you know, like you're not gonna do anything about it. But at the same time, there's another side of it where I'm like, no, like it's not worth it because of those reasons. Like, you know, like the aftermath of it, like it can be bad, you know? Like you never know who that other person's background is. And like they pull out a gun or you just never know. So those are just things that's like, is it really worth it? Or, you know what I mean? Like, even though that happened, but it's like, you know.
You ever worry that sometimes an unpredictable, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, very small encounter can change the way you look at someone forever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like your spouse or your fiance or boyfriend. It's like this thing can happen, and if it goes down the wrong way, right? Or the way I perceive it should have gone. It can really change the way you look at this person for a long time. Do you struggle with that at all? Like, do you think about that? Like, has that ever happened to you where it's like, oh, that, like, maybe not for marriages, but like dating could be over. With the wrong interaction, dating can be like one thing, and it's like, nah,
I didn't like
that's
that.
a game changer for me. I can't deal with you anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think so. I feel like married, or no, even dating, I saw like that Daniel would get like spicy with some things, and then I just personally don't like that. Like, it just engaging or like giving attention to those things. So like I'm gonna walk away, like, or just I'll pull him and stuff. And I feel like that is just like, no, we rise above it. Like, we don't stoop down to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I think for me, it has turned me off of it.
So you're
with
almost like
things.
your value is, I want you to diffuse. If you can diffuse it,
like,
I want you to diffuse
personally, I think that's more strength than him slapping someone.
Yeah.
Like, I think him, like, if someone grabbed my butt, like, and he just like, but he cares, like, oh, how are you okay? Like, let's leave. Like, if I feel like that's protecting me than him punching someone.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I feel like, like for me, it kind of like,
I think you should have a pregame discussion.
I do need to talk about this.
I think you should, right? Because like that expectation should not be unstated.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Like if you're in a relationship with someone that's significant and you're like, hey, who knows? Like everybody has a different threshold. Like the thresholds are always different depending on the person you're talking to. And if you have a threshold where you're like, this is the line for me where I would be super offended, super like uncomfortable. Like I think your partner should know that. And I think your partner there should be a pregame discussion of like how I hope you would handle certain things, right?
Yeah.
Because that can change. Like if you feel like your partner's a loose cannon, you kind of go through life going, oh my gosh.
Yeah, worried all the time.
Yeah. You ever met somebody like that? They're in a marriage or they're in a significant relationship and they feel like they're babysitting their partner. Like they love this person, but they're also scared of this person's reaction.
Yeah, I have seen that.
I don't know.
Super
like
crazy.
That.
You never seen anybody like that?
No.
Really? Oh my God. Usually it's the wives babysitting. Not always. If sometimes if the wife's a chemical abuser, if she's a drunk or whatever, that'll be crazy in public situations. But usually it's wives to husbands, and they're like, and it's a short fuse husband, somebody with a quick temper. They're like constantly like intervening. They're constantly like, whoa, and they're stepping in because they know where it's going. And they're managing it. They're constantly managing. So that puts you in this situation where relationally you're kind of like, I'm babysitting this person.
Yeah.
They're a child to me, which. That's tough because nobody really wants to sleep with their child.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It changes the way you look at that person and engage with that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ever been in a situation like that where it's been like, you ever had a situation where your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it is, your significant other felt like somebody crossed the line with you? Has it ever felt like that way?
Like if someone crossed the line with me, if he's ever felt away. I don't think so.
Well, I just feel like the only reason I'm asking you, I'm singling you out, is because when you've had your history, right, when you've done like college athletics, I would think you'd be in constant like environments where you'd be with co-ed environments with like a track team, right? And that's a tough situation for a boyfriend to be in because it's like, oh, you're going to be with all these athletes? That's great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's great. I feel really comfortable about that. You know what I'm saying? Would that ever...
I mean, yeah, we've definitely had like conversations and stuff about like things like that. Like, or I would tell him like, hey, this person like hit on me or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I would communicate those things with him, and he would definitely feel away, like because he's not there, so he can't really do anything about it. So he would definitely feel away about it, but we would like talk it through and stuff. And
Is it? You think it's better? Like if somebody hit on you, do you think it's always better to be like, let's talk about that? Or is it better to like, hey, I'm going to shut that down and like, let's not even put that fear in my partner's mind.
Yeah.
Like what's the right thing to do in those situations?
I think it's up to the person to shut it down. So let's say Daniel got hit on.
Yeah.
It's his responsibility to like first shut it down and like deal with it. And like, I feel like sometimes it's better to not share with
Would you want to know every time he got hit on?
I don't know. I feel like if it's people that maybe I know or maybe like it's like I don't know, like in the circle.
If it's like your sister.
Oh my
or
God.
Your friend, it's like, I want to know that one.
Or like someone that I'm gonna see weekly, like at church or something. Like maybe I probably wouldn't want to know. I don't know.
You wouldn't want to know. The closer they get to you, you wouldn't want to know. Because you'd have to deal with them going forward?
Yeah, like I feel like that's his responsibility.
Yeah, just shut
like,
that off.
I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like if it's people like in the circle, like that I do see every week, I would want to know.
Yeah.
Because you'd want to know how to like address that person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I would just...
You keep an eye.
In a way, yeah. Like,
I'm watching you.
I mean, there has been situations that's happened like in the past, like where I knew there's certain people that did like have, you know, like they liked Israel and stuff, and like I was cool with them. So yeah, I've had those, you know, like also like interactions with people and stuff, and like he told me just because like I know they're like people that we know, you know. So it's just to keeping things in mind. Not that I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, like you know what I mean? Like it's not. Yeah. It never was a problem. It was just like, oh, like I just want to let you know, just so you know you have a heads up and stuff. Yeah. So just communicating that, you know.
Yeah, I get.
What do you think?
I agree with her. Like if we're in the same circle, or it's like I see this person often, then I would want to know, not to, you know, confront that person or anything like that, but just kind of like in the back of my mind, kind of know like if this is like a real person or not. Like, you know, can I trust this person or I don't know. So
I get you because let's say it's like a close friend that I think she's my friend. And it's kind of like I would want to know like what are you really doing? You know?
Yeah, so, like that would change the like that would change the dynamic of the.
For sure.
I think it's different for guys. I think we just assume you're always getting hit on. So like we don't. I'm not sure we need to like.
No.
I guess I don't know. That's a
not
tough.
Like, hey, baby,
I don't want to answer for all men. I don't want to answer for all men in the world, but I would just assume, right, that it's constant. Like, there's always like a hey. There's just a group of guys that are always knocking at every door. Do you know what I'm saying? They're knocking at every door. They just open the door open. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, and so there's an assumption that that's taking place. But I think it was when it's reversed, like when you said, like, I think there are some people that liked my fiance. You know what I'm saying? I think it's reversed. That does get a little like weird. When it's a woman that's stepping out with the aggression. I don't know if that's fair, but I feel like that's a little.
You're saying
I think
it's
like
different?
we expect it from guys.
Yeah.
When it's a girl, I think it's a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know. Is that fair? You think it's weirder for girls to be more forward like that?
I feel like man to man though. Like I don't know. I think it's more like I don't know. Like as a guy, like you're hitting on my wife. Like to another guy, like you don't. I don't know. I feel like it's equal. Obviously, it's still like you're hitting on my partner, but like as a guy, like I don't know. What do you guys think?
You think it's different for guys and girls?
I mean, I think like yes. I think like. The stereotype.
You think more people have hit on you than have hit on Israel? I think the answer to that's simple.
I mean, I did go to college, so I would say like, well, I'm
not saying
that
way.
I went to college. It was every day.
No, because there was a season where Israel went to college and he got hit on a lot. Like,
really?
Yeah, like he like got hit on.
I didn't know he had it like that. I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding. He's great.
But I think like obviously in those environments, like yeah, like you're gonna get hit on. Like you know, like when he went to college, like he got hit on. And like when I went to college, like yeah, there was moments where I got hit on as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know who got hit on most. I don't know. But I think the stereotype is that obviously like there's a stereotype that men do it more than women, or like women have this thing where like, oh, like I'm not gonna be the first to reach out or like, you know, hit on a guy. Like, I want them to, you know, like that's just a thing.
In a huge generalized sense. I just think that historically, you know, for the non-believers, evolutionarily, like all of it, that the men are typically more the aggressors, right?
Yeah.
I think biologically that's just true. You know what I'm saying? Generally speaking, I'm not saying forever. Please don't write it. I get these crazy responses to podcasts now. I'm always like, generally, right? Speaking. But I just think that's true. And I think that's why I think if it's reversed, if it's the woman that's doing, that's a little bit weirder dynamic. Like that feels a little more, like it feels like guys, it's like, okay, you're a guy. And I'm not saying that's fair. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's moral. I'm just saying it feels a little different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I convinced them very easily. They all just gave in. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Women do it. But I feel like that's true a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, do you think you'd want to know? You'd want to know every time?
I don't think I would want to know every time. I think only if it's like people in our close circle. Because I think what they mentioned is like, wow, like then I know like my friend who I thought was my friend is like, you know, kind of
really kind of
hitting on. Yeah, like I would just kind of like just evaluate my friend. Like, oh, like I don't know, like if I really want to, like, you know.
Yeah, be vulnerable with this person.
Yeah.
And close to this. That'd be tough to be in, like, you're in a small group with this person and they're like, but secretly they're passing notes to your spouse. It's
like, no, that's crazy. Yeah, no.
So I think that would just throw me off, and like I would want to know that situation. But if it's like a random person like in the store, like It's like they could tell me if they want to, but like it's like okay, like as long as you handle it and like you didn't entertain it, then yeah, then that's fine. Like I wouldn't need to know.
What do you think? Do you think Iz would want to know every time?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you think Danny would do if like you told him you were like, man, this guy's in? What would you do?
Like a random stranger?
No, like anybody, like somebody you know.
Like what he would do?
Yeah, what would he do?
I don't know. I feel like I think he would tell me to talk to them.
Wait, what?
Like I think I don't know. I feel like we're both on that same page of like if someone is like engaging with you, then it's our responsibility to take care of it.
That's a very mature marriage.
Yeah.
Like no, I'm serious.
Yeah, like so if a guy hits on me, I'm like, hey, like I'm married. Like I don't know, like because then how extra is it gonna look for my husband to go up to him? Like it could start something,
right? Yeah.
Compared to me handling it, it's kind of like, oh well, you deal with that, and like obviously Daniel knows, but he's not in the middle of it.
I think it's funny. I agree. Totally right. That was right. Okay. Mature stance. I just think guys are weird. Like guys it's one of two things, right? Guys will either put something to bed very quickly with like a very simple like confrontation, or you're right, it escalates to a whole problem, right? But if it escalates to a problem, there was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But usually with a guy, it's like if like a guy will come up to another guy, hey man, I feel like you crossed the line here, don't do it again. And like that literally is all it takes. Guys are just like, I know, okay. Because guys are door knockers, typically, right?
Yeah.
Like we know door knockers. We're like, okay, you're a door knocker. Hey, don't knock at this door because that's my door. Back off. Find another door to knock at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they just kind of and put it to bed. You know what
so you're saying it's more simple then to kind of...
I'm just saying like... I don't know. For me, I'd probably feel a little proud. Right? If somebody was like, if we were married, right, and somebody was hitting on you, I'd be like, yeah, I know.
Oh,
you're gorgeous.
You would be perfect.
I would, right? A little bit, as long as you were like, yeah, I'm shutting this down. Absolutely, I'm being honest. I would be like, of course,
yeah,
you're amazing, right? They see what I see. You're amazing.
Yeah,
that was me. Is that your guys' feeling? Not so much.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like
I wouldn't want anyone obviously like hitting on Israel, but I see your point. It's like okay, like they find him attractive and like
obviously.
Like
that's what I would do.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time till somebody comes along that sees what you see in your spouse, and your significant others, and you'll know usually before they know it. Like you see the glimmer in their eye, and you're like, I used to have that glimmer, or I still have that glimmer. What are you doing with that glimmer? Do you know what I'm saying? And you kind of just like, okay, we need to shut that down,
right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Let's shut it off quick.
Mm-hmm.
If you got into a situation where you were walking away and you were thinking to yourself, he didn't do enough. Like when you said that, I was like, ooh, that hurt like a little bit earlier. Like I would feel some kind of way that he didn't do enough, like either to shut it down or give me enough response, maybe even just an our talking, like take it seriously enough. Like that could change the way you look at the person. You could think less of the person. How do you get through that? You know what I mean? How do you get through that?
Premarital counseling. Oh, not premarital, marriage counseling.
Just straight to the marriage counselor. How do you book an appointment because this is bad? Like, I feel like that's happened a lot. I deal with a lot of couples where they're looking back to something that happened a year or two ago. Oh, wow. And they're like, this happened and I haven't gotten over it. Mm-hmm. And I knew at that point they didn't value me the way I wanted to be valued and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
This is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think you got to speak up quick.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel like that sense of value dropping, I think you got to speak. You got to be like, we got to address this quick. I got a problem with you.
Yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't go away. It gets worse.
Yeah. No, I think you need that open communication because it could be something like deeper, like basically like he didn't protect me in that moment, and like my dad never protected me, or I don't know. Like it could literally like it
it
could
brings up an old
yeah,
wound.
like it
like
could
another whole room.
yeah,
my
like,
dad.
it could. I don't know, like for different
Like
things.
a trigger kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it triggered, or I don't know, or just different situation. Maybe like in the past he like was very flirty or something, and then he like doesn't tell me, or I don't know, whatever. It's like those things could be triggers, you know, and then it's like it gets worse and worse and worse.
That's
So
fair.
I think always communicate, like always share.
You ever felt like it's not important? Maybe somebody else. You felt like this for somebody else. I don't care. Whatever. But you ever felt like your partner, even if you were like, I'm not sure, like I'm second guessing myself, but my partner, I feel like my partner may be a little attracted to somebody else. Like they find that. Does that always unnerve you? Like, does that always like are you like, man, this is so uncomfortable. Like, I feel like this person has got my partner's attention a little bit. How do you address that? How do you bring that up?
That's interesting because I feel like it's not a abnormal thing to be attracted to other people.
Correct.
So I don't think it would be an issue unless it's gotten to a point where it's like, okay, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's wrong with like thinking people are attractive.
Who's more jealous, you or Axel?
Maybe me.
Okay, fair enough. How about you?
I would say probably maybe mutual. I feel like it's mutual.
Pretty shared.
Yeah,
I don't think you guys have been through enough yet. What do you think?
Who's more jealous? I don't know. Maybe Daniel. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't spent enough time with you guys. No, I just feel like he would be more verbal about it. Like he would be more like, I'm gonna solve this. We're solving this.
Yeah.
This is getting solved.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like he would be more apt to be like, no, I'm gonna call. Let's just have the conversation. I'll take him to lunch. Whatever we got to do. But somebody's getting talked to.
Yeah.
I feel like that would happen.
Yeah, I think he would too.
Yeah.
But
He wouldn't like it.
yeah.
But I think he would do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would try to like nip it in the butt immediately. But I don't know. I don't know if that's always the best. But I do agree that I think a guy doing it to another guy is probably more like chill. It could be more chill than like
a
me.
Woman.
It can seem like, oh, like dang, they talked about this in their marriage. Now she's gonna come to me. Like I don't know.
It's a
like,
whole thing.
Yeah,
I think the woman thinks a whole thing.
Yeah. But I think that it makes sense because I'm also not running away from like the problem.
Yeah, guys
it's like
don't
my
look
husband's
at it
fixing it for me.
Right. The guys don't look at it the same way because guys don't think about door knockers as predators. We just think, well, you're just a door knocker.
Yeah.
That's just your MO. This is what you do. You just knocked at the wrong door. This is my door. Get away. Right?
Yeah.
But I think it is weird when a woman does it. I think there is, I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. Jiminy Christmas. But I'm just saying, I think you react differently. I think you're like, oh, this is a problem. If this person would knock at this door, they fully know this freaking homewrecker over here. This is, I think that's an issue.
Yeah.
I think we respond to it differently.
Yeah.
Is that fair or not fair?
I don't
think
difficult.
I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't think it's fair, but I think it's like
No, I'm fair in the sense of like, is that true? Like, is that reality a little bit? That I think when guys do it, I'm not saying it's right, but I think it's a little more expected. When a woman does it, it's a little more like, oh my gosh, like what are you doing? Right?
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree because, well, in a sense, and there's a level that I agree to is because, like if I'm putting myself in a situation, like if a guy was to hit on me and then, like I feel like that's common for like men to hit on females first.
Yeah.
So when I see like a female hitting on like Israel, like if that was to be the case, like I would feel like, whoa, like it's weird because like it's not really normal. Like not that it's not normal, but like it's not really common for females to kind of
common. I like that word.
First
common.
move, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably a fairer word. Common is
Yeah.
probably it's a little less common, and that little less common kind of sends a red flag of like,
Yeah.
wow, like you knew we're a thing, and you're still crossing this line. That's weird.
And then men are more likely, like they're more of like they're more like the go getters. Like they would probably most likely go, like do it first. So I think like it's just obviously knowing your person and all, like knowing that they wouldn't, like go there, if that makes sense.
I think part of the reason I bring this up, last thing, part of the reason I bring this up is churches are full of these intimate environments, right? You're constantly having like life talk and like struggle talk and my faith pursuit talk. And tell me how many groups you've been in, like a small group where somebody's cried or there's been like a sharing of burdens and all these kind of things. There's all these very vulnerable kind of like interactions that take place in church environments. And I think that lends itself to thinking through these deals, right? Because if you're with a partner, you're a part of a church community, you're putting yourself in these vulnerable environments, but you've never talked through the underpinnings of how you want to handle like when people cross the line, because people will cross the line. I think maybe churches are more prevalent. Think about it. I think the expectation is, well, churches are free from these environments. I'm like, no. I would say churches, these are more prevalent in problems in churches because you've got all this vulnerability, right? You've got all this shared time and these like interactions between people, couples and people of the opposite sex and all these kind of things. I think that creates environments where lines sometimes get crossed. And I think unless you talk about your partner, you're going to have different expectations.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, no, it happened before. Because I feel like in church you're more like physical touch with people,
and you're hugging and kissing everybody.
You're hugging and kissing everyone.
Kiss on the way in. Give me a. That's why you see me. I only hug you guys. I know. I'm only a side hugger. I'm a fist bump and a side hugger. And I know that that's not like proper Hispanic, greeting. But I'm like,
I get it,
I've been accused one too many times. Like here you get a pump. And that's it.
Yeah. No, but it's happened that guys like have like fully hugged me and like their hands will be close. So like my butt and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God. And like one time I told Daniel about it because it was someone close, and I was like, I don't know if it was an accident or but it's like the second time that he's hugged me kind of weird.
Yeah.
And so we kind of talked about that, and he was like, well, just don't hug me anymore. It's true. You're right.
You get no more hugs.
I just won't hug you.
No, I think it's weird, right?
But
like there's
true,
all these things, and I think that like I would say this, like for couples that are new to this, especially that might be listeners, I would think the newer you are as a couple, you should deal with it early. Because if you get out the expectations early, hey, this is what I expect, and let me hear what you expect, and let's handle this together, then you're not in your 10th year of marriage going, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not surprised.
Yeah.
You've already worked through it. You've prepped and ready. I know what you expect. I know what you expect of me. Let's see this through.
Yeah. But I think those conversations, the assumption is that those are small things.
Yeah.
So then they don't talk about, or like, we won't talk about it because it's something small, but it's like, it's the small things that.
Yeah. You rubbing the small of my back is not small.
Over time.
They 10 years later, then it's like a huge issue, compared to just talking.
That's a good illustration though. Like, I got a weird hug, weird vibe. What do I do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And it could have been an accident, or it could have been maybe just, getting more and more comfortable with me. But either way, I was like, let me just not hug him anymore.
Next thing you know, we're like in an embrace.
Yeah, or then they'd start doing the cheek kiss, but like full lips.
Yeah, Hispanics are like,
but cheek on cheek, but the kiss goes out here.
Yes, not lips on cheek.
This is unfair too. This is unfair. I'm going to say this out loud. This is unfair. The only people. Okay, never mind. I'm going to say it anyways. This is wrong. But the only people I do that with are old people.
That you do the
full hugs and full kisses with anybody that's like 60.
Yeah.
Bring it in here. You're getting it, girl. Let's go.
Dang.
No,
you probably got some ladies.
Or this is even weirder statement to make, but or littler kids. Like if it's like a middle schooler or something.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, come here, kid. You know what I'm saying? But which is also weird for a pastor to say.
Yeah, I know.
That's the wrong thing to say in this day and age. But I'm just saying, if you're super young or super old, I'll be a little more physical with you. But anybody in the window of like reality, like to my age, I'm like, sorry, I can't. It's a weird thing. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. Like people.
I get that.
It's a weird deal.
We need to, because I feel like our family is very physical. Like we'll all hug each other, all kiss each other. Yeah. Like even if we see each other for 5 minutes, we'll hug each other, hi,
kiss each other,
and kiss each other to leave. Like even 5 minutes. So it's like I feel like we're naturally like that. So we put that expectation on everyone.
Yes, because we walk in the house and we say hi like everyone.
Like
we say hi to
literally
every
single person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like.
I think that's a cultural thing too.
It is. Yeah, I think so.
It's continued on with like church life and friends and everything, and it's like. We kind of need to start doing the little fist bump.
Because we hug everyone comes in, like we just hug everyone, like, you know, like even if it's just like side hugs and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
I do more side hugs with the guys, but then like with the girls, it's more like, hi girl, you know, like it's the girls and stuff. So
no, but I think there's what about your family? Is it a pretty touchy family?
Not really.
No.
That's funny that you guys said that because you know, Charlene, she goes here too.
Yeah.
And I was hugging Avi, and Avi was like, Mariah, why don't you do the kiss thing? And I'm like, I don't know how to do it.
I don't know the kiss thing. I don't know. I'm out.
So I literally just learned it not too long.
Yeah. I'm just now. You're right, because until I came here, like until I was in Kissimmee and until I was around nothing but Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, right? I had never heard of the kiss thing.
Right.
I was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
This has never happened.
Put
to
your
me.
face
Like, I
together?
didn't-
Like, why?
Yeah.
why are you guys putting your cheeks together?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, how you doing?
Yeah, they're kissing everyone. And I'm like, what is happening right here? My grandmother didn't touch me like this. You know what I'm saying? Much like you. But that's just, I think that's partly cultural.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like in my culture, we'll say like hi, but we don't necessarily like hug everybody.
Yeah.
But it is like considered like disrespectful. Like if you come into a home or something and you don't like acknowledge everybody there, but we don't always do the hugging. And things
No,
like that.
it's funny because there are guys and girls here where it's almost seen as disrespectful. The guys will say it to me. Like I have one guy that comes in late to everything and still has to greet everybody and hug everybody. And I'm like, at least show up on time if you're going to do that. You got to wait 15 minutes with you hugging everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're going to wait. But it's weird. Like culturally, they consider it rude. They consider me the rude one.
Yeah.
The whole time in my mind, I'm thinking, you're rude. You're rude. You're rude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they think the other way. And some of the women have said to me too, like people have come here and left and literally said the pastor's too cold. And I'm like, too cold? What do you mean? And when you ask the questions, it's really that I wouldn't be in any way physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But I feel like if you know you, it's because of boundaries, not because you don't want to. Like, I'm sure if you could hug everyone and everyone
I would give everybody a full frontal.
Yeah.
But it's just too dangerous. Look, I've made it this far in ministry. I'm getting close to the end, right?
Oh my
Like I've made it a long way.
Yeah.
Most of my pastor friends that I grew up with did not make it this far,
Yeah.
right?
No, true that.
And partly because of some weird crossing lines, right? I just have to keep it.
Yeah, so I get it. Like, I feel like if it was because you naturally were just like standoffish, and that's different.
Yeah.
But I think because it's just a boundary, like you have to put.
Yeah, it's like, I got to get this 401k completely vested before I get fired.
So that's so funny. So like at my dad's church, I'm from Ohio. So at my dad's church, at the end of the the sermon, the pastor and the wife, they stand up in the front of the church, and then everybody comes if you want, and then you can give the pastor and the pastor's wife the hug or whatever. And like it's like what they do before you leave.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
But think about it. That's like almost like a greeting line at a wedding, right?
That's true.
You're going to stand over here and a lot of churches do that.
Yeah.
Right? And I used to stand at the back door. At the back door, but I would still do fist bumps to everybody unless you were old.
or
a child.
Yeah.
Or a little kid.
We had this old lady. This is so funny. We had this elderly woman that used to come to church. She was probably 90 pounds. Okay. And the funny thing is, we're building a building. We're going to spread her ashes because she's passed now, but her creative remains are still here on site, and we're going to shed her ashes on this new site that we have. Because we say Nancy's in the back all the time because Nancy spent her whole life here at the church at the end of her life, and she's in the back. But one day we're in this greeting line. I had a friend who owned a gym, and I gave this woman a hug. I was like, "Oh, Nancy, it's so good to see you." She was probably 80 years old. Hey, come here, it's good to see you. Gave her a hug. I always do that with the old people. And then this guy, as a joke, picked her up in a hug, like picked her up and broke her rib.
Oh,
stop it!
No,
Nancy.
Broke her rib.
Nancy,
She's so
Nancy.
fragile. She was so fragile.
No.
Osteoporosis or whatever.
Nancy.
Crop.
Bro, that's
Broke
like
her rib.
one of our Jeffrey, our cousin.
Yeah.
He hugs like
Yes.
super tight.
Super tight.
And I'm
like
like,
my
wait
neck
till
will-
wait till I get
Always
old.
happens.
Like I'm gonna break a bone if I'm an old lady and he hugs me.
Always it never fails. Every
Yeah?
time you hug him, it's such a like aggressive,
It's like a
but that's
bear
just how he
hug.
hugs. Like it's just
Oh my!
and like my neck
That's
is
a little
always like.
suspect, if you ask me. It could be a little suspect. I don't know. Just
No.
saying. All right, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate all your help. I don't know if we've learned anything, but we didn't solve anything.
Mhm.
But your perspective was much appreciated. Love you, man.
Mhm.
Yay.